How much of a mental game is Geometry Dash? It's entirely mental. I've said this many times before. You can be an Olympic athlete, but if you never want to get out of bed, what use are the muscles and the skills that you have?
Geometry Dash is a game that's supposed to make you rage.
Get past the
Every attempt you get mad makes you worse, and when you play worse, you get more mad. It's a cycle that keeps fulfilling itself, feeding upon your own decisions.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a cycle that I think is like common in pretty much any competitive game, whether you're competitive with yourself or competitive against others or some combination of the two. Is it's like when the stakes are high, you're going to get tilted, right? That's not just unique to Geometry Dash, but it is important to know how to deal with tilt, whether that means, you know, just breathing while you're in the moment or fully detaching from the game and taking a break.
Sent into madness to make your performance worse, and you know this. But is it as important as it seems, or does it not matter that much?
It's the most important thing. I already stated this in the start of the video. I think a lot of people cope about like, oh, like, I'm not good at wave spam, or like, oh, I need to get better at the robot game mode. And yes, while that is true, I think that what most GD players could benefit from is taking care of their anger issues and just in general not being such a pessimistic, miserable person. I think would help their progress the most. This is a trend that I've noticed predominantly through a lot of the GD community. Some people have really, really bad mindsets.
We'll answer that question, and we'll also give you some tips on how to improve your mental permanently. I also asked the top 50 player to see what they had to say, so he'll be answering this question later in the video. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you got mad at this game, and if you play this game, there's a good chance you want to get better at it. While I already have a video on improvement, this video will cover a part that I neglected when making that one, and that is your mental. Geometry Dash and mental are pretty much interchangeable terms, although I think that the mental part plays in multiple areas in the game, so I'm going to differentiate them throughout the video. First,
I can't lie, I don't have the best mindset, but I try to stay in the positives. That's all we can do, chat. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I never want to come across as a hypocrite. I've definitely gotten tilted while playing Geometry Dash. I've definitely raged while playing Geometry Dash. If you watch me playing Bloodbath, I have literally yelled when I die sometimes. But, like, the point of understanding that something is a mental game is not to be like a fully perfect human being who never gets frustrated, who never freaks out or anything like that. The important thing is nurturing conscious awareness so that you understand that when you are partaking or engaging with that behavior, you want to be doing something else. It's when you perpetuate the cycle and you aren't aware of it, where it just kind of like contaminates the rest of your life and your enjoyment of the game.
First, I think one of the most overlooked elements is the simple rage or tilt factor. Have you ever been in a position where you die at the ending of a level and now you can't stop thinking about how it could have been over? The long grind and time you spent on the level, all of
this is also the danger of the fluke, man. And this is a very good example. Doggy fluking to 97%. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, bro. I really hope the best for him. I hope that he's doing okay.
That effort just to die to something stupid and to have to keep the grind going. No one likes this feeling,
it's tough.
And weirdly, most of the times when you have it, you suddenly can't get far in the level anymore. Your mind isn't preoccupied with thinking about how to get far, since it already did. Your mind is now just trying to cope with the fact that you just had a stupid death, or you're still nervous from the fail, or from the fact that the level is just so unfun to play.
Dude, there's no worse feeling in this game than like not being able to reach a best that you've already achieved. Like it's one aspect of Geometry Dash is very hard is just like getting the new best. When you have a new best that you can't reach over an extended period of time, that really grates on you, bro. That is brutal. Again, I've experienced like a microcosm of this with like 9 circles. I fluked like a lot of like the harder end of the wave part. And then it took me like days, I think, or maybe even like a week to get back to where I got. It's hard, bro. It's hard to deal with.
That it's getting tiring to having to keep pushing after all of these things happening.
Because I think it's hard for us to reconcile as people. Like, part of the way we view self-improvement is like we always should be doing better. We always like the whole idea of like getting 1% better every single day. So when we see the number stagnating and not going up over a period of time, it increases that anxiety, that cortisol within us. And that's when we start like really beating ourselves apart and just like tearing ourselves apart from within. Like we all need greater self-compassion when we're going through those moments, but it's so easy to just kind of doom spiral when you're going through it, bro.
It's a normal human reaction, which is why so many people can relate to this. But while all
Yeah, like sorry, I don't know how to say their name, but the Mafiwi 98 on Sonic Wave is a great example.
this is true, it's also optional.
Why do so many GD streamers, why can they backflip? I mean, I guess it's just, I've only seen Squishy Man and King Sam a lot, but it's enough to recognize it. I guess that's only 2.
Alright, so he did die at 95, but that's okay.
How can you die at the last click of Slaughterhouse and say it's completely fine? So many people would get mad or sad from dying here, yet he just didn't care. It didn't impact him. Obviously, I'm sure the fail still sucked, but it would have been so much worse if he had—
Can you backflip? No, and that's the problem, because I feel like if I could backflip, it would be PogChamp awesome.
let that get to him fully. Instead, he stayed calm, collected, and then tried again. And that mindset not only will make you less mad when playing the game, but also make you more consistent and increase the likelihood of getting back there again. Because the fail already happened. When you do get tired of a level or you fail at the end of it, your reaction will not change what has already happened. You crashing out because you—
I talked about this in my How to Stop Raging at Geometry Dash video that I posted like last week.
At 98 will only make you not want to play anymore, and in fact, increase the chance of you quitting the level altogether. So
it's an expenditure of energy, right? Like when you get frustrated and you kind of rage out, it's because there's this pent up energy, this excitement that can either manifest as anxiety or you can allow it to like motivate you. You know what I'm saying? And it's very easy because in any single instance, we as people, we can teeter-totter either way. You can either let the energy consume you in a hot, fiery fit of passion, or you can let it like be like the little fire that's stoking you to keep on going. But it is energy. And energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be diverted. You have to choose which direction you divert it to, right?
If you do want to finally finish that tormenting grind, your best chances are by controlling yourself and detaching from the result from the fail. Imagine you get 98 on your new hardest level. You have 2 paths to take. The first one tells you to act on instinct and to emotionally cope by getting mad or sad directly because of the fail. It's what your body wants to immediately do. But the second one tells you that,
some people,
you know, while it is unfortunate, you did still make progress. You did get to the end. You did already basically beat the level, and now when going for 100% and having to do it all over again, you just get to improve at the game even more. Why get the raw skill from beating the level once when you can get the raw skill from beating the level twice?
I said this was bloodbath, dude. I don't want it to be an accident. I want to master a level. Again, I think it comes back to self-compassion. And I think this is a weakness a lot of us have. Like, we look at it from a lens of self-hatred rather than like, hey, I tried my best and I'm getting better and that wasn't the attempt, but maybe it'll be the next one, you know? Again, it's easier said than done. But honestly, I think a good exercise for some people might be literally like the moment you start to rage out, physically hug your body and pretend like you're literally your own parent and be like, hey, it's okay. Some of you are going to think that that's cringe or sad, but like, I think you would genuinely be surprised how soothing it is. Self-soothing is a topic that a lot of us don't talk about. A lot of people lack the skill to self-soothe, to literally just like nourish yourself and make yourself feel okay rather than like being like angry and all this stuff. Like literally sometimes all you need is just you saying to yourself like, hey buddy, it's okay. We're going to be all right. Try it sometime. It's crazy how effective it actually is.
What are the chances you are going to fluke the ending anyway? Especially while nervous, there have been so many more people with worse fails that reacted better than you have. And human error is completely normal in situations like this, so
ideally you'd have a body pillow for that. I mean, do what you want.
Obviously, the second
whatever
way of
works.
thinking is definitely better for your mental. Instead of saying that you deserve the worst and that you did something no normal human would do, try actually thinking about all of the factors that were going against you. You were nervous, you cared, the ending is either chokeable because it's hard, or—
Exactly, and freaking Geometry Dash is an overstimulating freaking war torture device that we all subjugate ourselves to. You're doing fine. There's so much happening. There's so many potential points of failure where things can go wrong. Maybe it's not your fault. Maybe the game's just hard, bro.
Or chokeable because you didn't practice it enough. Maybe the ending is easy and you still died, but you have to account for human error in levels that are nearly or over a minute long. It's very easy to just do one click pattern the wrong way out of the hundreds of clicks necessary to beat the level. So at the end of the day, bad fails or long grinds are actually to be expected in a game like Geometry Dash. The game and human biology is actively working against you, so failing at the end is the most normal response there is. Why would you get mad at something that makes sense and is most likely to happen? You're better off with a mental reset and just trying to keep that consistency instead of wondering about what ifs and when will it end, since neither one of those thoughts will help you in completing the level. If Geometry Dash is a game where you play better focused and zoned in, why
Dude, my bad. I have not subscribed. This guy's spitting.
actively keep these thoughts when they distract you so easily? Whenever you get mad, you essentially choose to sabotage yourself and to make it even worse, although you might not realize it. And this is why I'm making the video. I'm not expecting you after watching this to go back to your main level, get a bad failure session, and turn into a Buddhist monk. But if it stops you even 10% and it helps you control your emotions better, then that's already huge progress. The most consistency
Yes, chat, just like Geometry Dash is a process, the grind is a process with like a little progress every single day. View that the same way as like learning how to live with your emotions and process them in a healthy way. It's not about being like a perfect monk, like overnight. It's just, if you play Geometry Dash today and you rage and get upset at it a little less than yesterday, you're doing great. You're doing fine. It's about being on a path of self-improvement. It's about recognizing what you're doing wrong and trying to do better. That's all it is. You don't have to be perfect. Just nurture this self-compassion and awareness of like, hey, I'm doing this unhealthily. How can I be a little healthier about how I engage with this? That's it.
I've had on levels was when I was content with any fail I'd get, and I would just try my best to do the part in front of me and get far on the level. My best consistency was never because I got mad or raged. It was because I detached from the outcome and just focused on my input, on what I could do better. And so, when you sum it down, you're never better off mad, but you're always better off with contempt. And if the mission is to be more consistent or to beat a level or to finish a long grind, why not use this to your advantage? Why not try to make this your default state of mind?
When will it end could be a question looked at in a positive light as well by assessing the path to success. I agree with that. I also just like my school of thought for Geometry Dash and something that I really want to impart to others is like, why does it matter when it will end? If the grind is just all the same, and this is why like I have a lot of chatters coming in, they're just like, when do you think you're going to beat Bloodbath? You know, an innocent question and it's fair enough. But genuinely, imagine the version of GD player you could be if genuinely when you were grinding a level, that question didn't cross your mind. Like whether I beat Bloodbath this week or a year from now, or when I'm 65 years old. And I'm not saying that to LARP. I'm saying I'm using it as a bit of a thought exercise. What version of you would that be where genuinely you could play a level and not care when it's over? Some of you can't comprehend that. You genuinely can't comprehend it. For some people, it's as simple as flipping a switch and it's like, oh yeah, I need to go easier here. But some people genuinely can't comprehend being okay with something taking as long as it's going to take.
It's gonna take a while and it's gonna be pretty hard.
Because you ultimately have no control, bro. You have no control over how long. I was talking about this at the beginning of the stream. You have no control over how long something is going to take. You only have control over how you react and your consistent effort over a long period of time. Just remain consistent, stay locked, and hope for the best. Put your best foot forward every time.
Hard, but once you do it, you're effectively gonna have a permanent skill boost. Now, besides just raging and controlling it, there is another mental part to Geometry Dash, and that is how much you care. Obviously, the more you care about the game or completion, the harder it's gonna be to stay grounded, to control yourself, and especially to detach from the outcome. But look, you are the one who chooses the amount of significance a game has in your life. Because at the end of the day...
And chat, to be completely vulnerable here, I think this is the one that I partake in the most, because I think if you've watched my journey with GD, when I first started playing GD, I did not get that tilted or raging at it. I think the most I've ever gotten tilted and raged at the game has literally been during this Bloodbath grind. And it's not because like the game itself really is frustrating. It's because I do care so deeply about, at this point, I love Geometry Dash. I mean, I always liked it, but like I am fully just entrenched in it now. And I have such deep passion to beat Bloodbath. I care so much. But yes, that exact care is the exact thing that can just like eat you up on the inside and kind of like burn you alive. So this is the first time, and I would say that this is more of a recent thing with the Bloodbath grind. I think the closer I get, the more my passion has begun to just like really like like become this roaring fire because I'm getting so close. So let's hear this out. I think this is a good topic.
It is still a game. I'm not saying you shouldn't try or be competitive or try to be the best you can be or care about a hobby, but there's a balance. You should never be in a position where your real life mental health is dependent on a game.
Absolutely.
By doing that, you are just setting yourself up for failure. You are letting your mind, thoughts, emotions, and moods be controlled by something that is not in your control. And by doing this, you have no control on whether you're a happy or sad individual. You have no control over your own life. So remember, at the end of the day, while I also dislike the saying, "It's just a game, bro," it is true. It is just a game. Be competitive, try your best, and yes, put effort in things you care about, but don't lose control over your
I'm just going to time out that guy who keeps spamming for 30 minutes, chat. Let's let that guy's cortisol lower. But he got my attention. He won.
own life in the process. That's just stupid. Why would you do that? Another important element is the expectation part of the process. Say you beat a top 100 Extreme Demon and that you're pretty good at the game, but then take a week to beat a top 1000 Extreme Demon. Or your hardest is a Medium Demon, but you struggle on 8-star levels. You will probably get frustrated a lot easier in these scenarios since these are the levels that you think you should be able to beat with no difficulty, with no problem, that you're better than them. And while that may be partially true, if you're
That's why I've talked about this before. I feel like the longer you've played Geometry Dash, the more susceptible you are to this like line of thinking of if you have 1,000+ hours in GD, your brain has more of a precedent of like, I am a GD player. I play this game. I am good at it. And so when you're met with data points where it's like, hey, clearly you're kind of trash, man, and you're not that good, it's humbling. And that creates that cognitive dissonance of like, wait, but part of my identity is that I'm good at this game that I'm playing. I'm not good at the game right now. That is a threat to my safety and security as an individual. Or like that's a false conclusion that one can come to, right? Ultimately, my opinion is it's kind of why I like jumping. If I'm jumping to a level that's so far above my current grasp of the game, I don't have to worry about the game humbling me.
setting expectations in regards to how
By playing something easier that I should be good at. If I'm always playing something hard that I should be bad at, it's a little bit of cope while also being able to improve at the game. I know it's crazy, but it works for me.
You are just sabotaging yourself. Again, you don't have control over when you beat the level. You only have control over how much you play it and how much you focus. Also, I wanted another opinion on this, so as the top 50 player and verifier of Nerve Held Chop blocks this question, I'll just let you see what he said himself. I saw a lot of people talk about whether or not mental really matters in a game like Geometry Dash that's mostly muscle memory. So I just wanted to ask you, since you're definitely qualified to answer this question,
If this guy's top 50, there's no way a top 50 player of this game, there's no way he answers this question like, no. You know what I mean? But I am curious to see what he says. It's absolutely a yes, though. There's no question. Any top player of any video game, like any top 100 player, they understand the freaking Sisyphean task it took to get there, more intimately than anybody. Like, I think a lot of people take that for granted. I think a lot of people who will give up on things a lot earlier than like freaking anyone else will, that's why they underestimate the mental struggle, is because whenever they have a bit of friction in their mental, their natural inclination is to immediately give up. They don't know what it's like to endure through like imagine, chat, next time you want to give up, like your knee-jerk reaction is to give up. Imagine what happens when like you like challenge that thought and you keep on going. And then what happens when like over the course of a long period of time, you keep hearing that like self-sabotaging belief in your head of like, you should just give up. You should just give up. What happens when you keep challenging that negative voice in your head? It gets a little quieter, bro. It gets a little quieter. But most people, they never challenge that voice. And then that voice gets to dictate their whole entire rest of their life. It becomes a very negative, sad, miserable experience. It's not something that you want your life to be. I'm not saying you have to be able to challenge that voice every single day. I'm not saying that you have to always come out on top over it, but you have to challenge it at least sometimes. Because if you never do, you're going to live your life on a very sad autopilot, and your life is going to get smaller and smaller with each passing year until everything erodes around you and you live this very sad, lonely experience. And life is hard enough, man. Life is hard enough without you tearing yourself apart from the inside out.
Does mental matter
promise
in
you.
Geometry Dash? And if yes, how much?
I think it does play a really big role, especially in like very, very difficult levels. Anything that's above like easy extreme, it already plays a role for that.
And if what I said just scared any of you, it should scare you. It's one of the scariest things. The way that someone's life can spiral out of their own control by their own volition, it should scare you. You have to stay on top of it. You have to stay on top of it and try to do your best. Always try to do your best. That's the only way you get the demons to go away, bro. That's the only way, bro. If you got demons you're dealing with, they're going to be there probably your whole life. You got to learn how to fight them. You got to learn how to fight back and not let them take control and take the wheel, bro. That is the only way. It's not easy, bro, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start dealing with it.
That in my opinion, but once you get to like list demons and then top 30s, 20s,
Speaking of demons,
top 10s, like that's where it plays an even bigger and bigger role, because at that point it gets to a point where like you need so much dedication and so much persistence for a level that if you don't have a good mental, like you either drop the level, or if you're disciplined enough you're gonna still play it, but you're just not gonna have a good time. So yeah, I think it matters a lot.
I also wanted to ask you,
very good point. That's a double-edged sword of progression, right, chat? Because and this is, again, this is such a case-by-case basis. Like, when do you drop a level versus, like, because some people white knuckle stuff, man. Some people, like, they will be so disciplined and so committed that even if they hate something and it's tearing them apart, they will keep doing it. And again, I can't give you that advice. A YouTube video can't give you that advice. Only you, as the person playing the level, can decide. Is this worth it for me to keep on going through? Or do I need to disengage for my own health, for my own well-being? And either choice can be right, but it depends on you. It doesn't depend on anyone else. No one else can answer that question for you because we don't know what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. We don't know experientially how the grind feels. Only you know that. It's your responsibility.
Just how much you think it changes when it comes to verifications, right? Because in my opinion, something like Doggy Journey with Grief is a lot more of a mental process than usual, but like not every verification is like that, you know?
I have to think about it with Africa Circles because it's a better example than Nerf Hell, because Nerf Hell is just like a top 60. I can beat top 60s in like 1-2 weeks, so it's not a big deal. Something like Africa Circles, I see that as like my magnum opus. I see this as a level I really have to beat this, but it's such a big feat for me. It's like it actually means a lot to me, like as a level. For a verification, I think it does play a role, but it depends on the level and how good you are. But if it's a level that you genuinely have passion for, that you really want to verify, and it's also really hard, then I guess you have more pressure to do it.
Yeah, so my last question for this would just be like,
I mean, that's just a beautiful, eloquent answer. Yeah. I think that, like, and that goes back to like what I always say, which is you should play what you want to play in the game. So like, chat, if you have a level that you want to go for, even if it's like well above your current skill level or undertaking, try it out. Feel free, give yourself the freedom to drop it if it's too much and it's not as fun as you thought it would be. You can always make a different decision. Just make whatever decision you want to make on the day, bro. You ain't got to stay committed, but just like, you might surprise yourself, bro. I've certainly surprised myself with this Bloodbath grind. I cared a lot about Bloodbath at the start of the grind. As I've gone to this grind, the passion has only grown, bro. I'm sure there's probably going to be levels that I try, GD levels I try in the future where the passion wanes and I'm like, this level is not worth it. For Bloodbath, it's just been a fire that keeps feeding itself, bro. It's been a really cathartic and beautiful experience. I want y'all to also be able to experience something like that. But you never know if you don't try. If you try and you don't like it, hey, you learned something. If you try and you love it, you also learn something.
You know, what advice, you know, what tips would you just give someone when it comes to improving their mental as a whole, right?
So for one, obviously play the levels that you're really interested in. Just don't go for something because someone else recommends it to you. Just find levels yourself and watch them and think to yourself like, oh wait, this could be maybe interesting, I could try this out.
Me with Sonic Wave.
And then if you try it out and it's a good level, that you can have a go for it, I guess. But don't do levels that people recommend you, because everyone has like a different taste. And if it's a level that you really hate, then obviously your mental is going to be worse for that. So that's number one. Number two, this depends on the level, but for most levels, it basically applies for most levels. Just don't really set expectations for yourself in consistency and stuff, because if you set expectations for yourself and you don't meet those expectations, then it's gonna be really demotivating. And you subconsciously do this. Like, I also
This is really like, this is something I'm glad that he's sharing this. This is something that I certainly need to get better at. Like I think that grinding on Bloodbath is making me more aware of that. I need to dismantle this whole idea that like, because I'm super consistent on a part one day, I should immediately be 100% consistent on every day. This is the main problem I'm having right now, chat, with Bloodbath. This is the main way that I'm kind of self-sabotaging myself currently. It's not that deep. It just isn't. And so I'm glad that he's talking about this, because this is information that I need to hear right now.
subconsciously do this.
Yeah.
Where when I play like an extended list, I want to beat it in like 4 or 5 days, and then if I take like an extra day or two, I just get kind of mad. But I don't know, I haven't really found a strategy to like stop myself from subconsciously doing it, but there is one, then I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, just like being aware of it as well, right? Like just that in itself.
Conscious awareness, chat.
Yes.
So
It's far better to be consciously aware of something that negatively influences your energy on a given day than it is to be unconsciously aware of it. Conscious awareness is the first step to positive change, chat. Write that down to a sticky note on your desk and never remove it. Conscious awareness is the first step to positive change. If you're doing that, you're at least taking a step in the right direction.
if you didn't want to believe anything I said, what you just heard came from a top player that's verified on multiple demon lists. Turns out that mental matters a lot more when you cross harder and harder levels, which makes sense and I can definitely agree on. Although, it's a bit interesting that they matter more on harder levels, but then your mental also gets worse on easier levels because of expectations. I guess the more you play the game, the worse it becomes. In conclusion, mental does
I was also
matter
learning that
in
earlier.
Geometry Dash, and the only way to combat a bad mental is to be aware of it and to try to control it. Detach yourself from the result, from the expectation, from the stress, or from how good you should be playing, and just focus on the game. Focus on long-term consistency and take breaks if you need to. I hope you learned something from the video and that hopefully you'll be a bit more positive in your next session. If you like this video, subscribing is free and you should definitely do it. You should also join my Discord since I'm very, very active in there. Quick shout out to the channel members, and YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the video on the screen, so maybe you should watch it next.
Guys, please, like, this is, to date, this is a beautiful video. A lot of the Geometry Dash videos I've watched in the community, they've been good entertainment, but this video feels like a warm hug. This is very good. This is very valuable information. I think this is the kind of video that y'all should come back to whenever you're struggling on your GD grinds. It certainly made, I think that or maybe I've seen a Theos video before. I think I have, but this has certainly made me a Theos fan. Please like and subscribe. This is a good guy, man. This is very valuable information, and it makes me feel optimistic for the GD community's future, because I genuinely think that if we as a community can wrap our minds about how to have a healthier relationship with this very hard game that we play, reaching the human limit is not as far off as it has been. React. Go in the description, join the Discord, go to the React to This Teach channel, drop videos that you want me to react to in that channel. If you see other videos that other people have shared, be sure to fire react to it. That's a way to upvote it so I know that other people want me to watch it and not just the person who shared it. Do that. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your day and night wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye. Oh.